Welcome, everyone, to Session 0 of Stewards of a Broken Sun, the third season of our podcast, Stories of a Broken Sun. We're very excited to finally be getting started here, and we're really happy that you've all decided to join us. Today on the agenda, we are going to be introducing the system we're using this season, Songs for the Dusk. We will also be introducing our characters, and once we have introduced our characters, which we've already made, we are going to build out the community in which they will operate. This community is going to be based in the city we built in I'm Sorry to Say Street Magic by Caro Assertion, which you can get at seaexcursion, seaexcursion.itch.io, and you definitely should. I'd like to start by acknowledging that this podcast is produced on the traditional unceded territory of the Katzie, Kwikwetlem, Stolo, Kwantlen, Stz'uminus, and Musqueam people and the treaty land of the Tsawwassen First Nation. I urge everybody to support Indigenous people however they can. One way that you can do that, particularly in North America, is to search the Settler Saturday hashtag on Twitter and provide direct support to Indigenous people in North America and around the world. The system that we are going to begin with today is Songs for the Dusk. This is the version 0.5 beta by Kavita, Poduri, and Quinn, Floredo, Vega. So the basics. Songs for the Dusk is a game about building a community in the ruins of a fallen world. When you play this game, you'll take on the roles of brave and compassionate adventurers called Striders, who set out to help their community thrive in the face of the dangers that threaten it. You'll explore a post-apocalyptic science fantasy world filled with ancient technology and strange transcendent forces. You'll get tangled up in deadly skirmishes, race through dramatic escapes, and stare out at steel ruins glittering in the pastel twilight. Of course, it won't be easy. Ancient war machines roam the old plains, imperial armies menace small settlements in the valleys, strange new predators stalk through the wilds hungry and fearless. Maybe all these dangers will stop you in your tracks and your dream will quietly wither away. Or maybe, with some luck and skill and cleverness, you can build a thriving community with a real future ahead of it. This is the core of this game. We play to find out what happens. Songs for the Dusk is a Forged in the Dark game. This means that it borrows a lot of its rules from another game called Blades in the Dark by John Harper. And, of course, we played a Forged in the Dark game last season as well, that being Scum and Villainy. Today I am joined by a resolute roster of excellent individuals, and I will introduce them now. First up, we have Velvet.
Dark greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the long-awaited Season 3. I use fair pronouns. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the interwebs at OG Brown Sugar.
Thank you. We are also joined by Michael Blood.
Hello, everyone. It's still me, Michael. My pronouns are still they, them, and you can find me on Twitter at GoodSirBlood if you're so inclined.
Third, we are joined by Kickers.
Hi, everyone. It's me, Kickers, also known as Be a Space Cat. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me online, generally under the moniker Be a Space Cat. That's about it. I hope y'all are having a good day wherever you are.
And we're joined by Trudy.
Hi, I'm Trudy. My pronouns are they, them. I can be found on Twitter under good_damage.
Thank you. And I'm Arp. My pronouns are here, they. You can find me on Twitter at Whycalibur, or you can follow the show at Broken Sun RPG, and you can visit our website, brokensunrpg.com. It's pretty cool. The first thing that we would like to do today is introduce the characters that we have developed for Season 3. Once this episode is going out, I am also going to be making a Twitter thread. I'll be adding to the Broken Sun Art hashtag, and this thread will include the wonderful new art that we got from Gilia Art on Twitter. That's Esther Pimentel. And I will, of course, link to her when you are seeing these great portraits that we've all received. So there are currently 7 playbooks in Songs for the Dusk. Aegises, beacons, charters, kestrels, scholars, scrappers, and witches. The playbooks are not unique in this game. You can mix or match or play a crew composed entirely of one type if you want. It's totally up to you. Though today, the characters we're introducing each have different playbooks. So if you would like to introduce your character, Velvet.
Yes, I will be playing Joan Jaws, Jojo to their friends. They are a bipedal shork, and they wear a very debonair skin-tight suit. Something eerily similar to, but legally distinct enough, Giorno's outfit from Golden Wind.
And where are they from?
They are from the far off ocean world of Nazoth. That is Nazoth. Blizzard, do not sue me.
I don't think they'll even notice us. What else can you tell us about Jojo?
So what anchors Jojo to our city, our community here, is they want to be part of this world. Specifically, they feel a very deep kinship with the Centurions. If you've been following along or are caught up, the Centurions are aquatic folks who were, kind of uplifted against their will, and they get around by incorporating a lot of cybertech prosthetics. Whereas JoJo's people, they kind of evolved very naturally, so they don't have to rely on cybernetics. So I think JoJo, feels very tight with them, wants to help them out however possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other anchor is the move like you, talk like you. JoJo, as a bipedal shark person, is very fascinated to see other similar creatures like, the ratkin, the giant bugs. And they're very interested in just learning more about them.
That's exciting. So what Velvet has just done has been to go through a first set of aspects that you pick out for your playbook in Songs for the Dusk. Your name and pronouns, your form, your look, heritage, background, and anchors. The anchors are the things that connect you, your character, to the main community here. Why don't they just leave? Why do they stick around? The next thing that is exciting and unique about Songs for the Dusk is the community relationship that you form on your playbook. And this is the belief that your character has about their relationship to the community. And there is a clock that you can fill out during downtime by taking actions and having experiences with people and places in the community. And when that clock is filled, you can learn the truth of your belief in relation to the community. So what is JoJo's belief with the community relationship?
JoJo's belief is this community is a safe place for me and my loved ones, and the people here need me to protect it.
As appropriate as JoJo is the Aegis playbook, a resolute warrior and protector. Would you like to tell us about the abilities you have?
Sure. So my starting ability is Intercepting Fist. When I protect a teammate or an NPC, I take +1 die to my resistance roll. And when I collect info about possible threats to my team or my community, I get +1 impact.
That's handy.
And then my first special ability is Hits Keep Coming. I can play my melody to completely avoid harm from an attack in combat or to push myself during a fight.
I've given each player their melody ability. Melody is a special resource in this game, sort of like a special armor type thing in Forged in the Dark, in addition to the ability that they pick when they start. So what's the other ability you've got there?
And the other one is probably my favorite of the two. It's the Reverie School. I have potency in unarmed combat and don't suffer reduced impact or a lower position if I'm unarmed against opponents with melee weapons. And I can precisely define the degree of harm I deal.
Right, to opponents in melee combat.
Yes.
Reverie School is a really cool ability. Can't wait to see it in action. And speaking of actions, the 3 attributes in this version of Forged in the Dark in Songs of the Dusk are Analysis, Kinesis, and Semiosis. Each one of those has four actions built into it. And why don't you tell us about the actions you took points in?
So as far as Analysis, I do not have any points in there. JoJo is a shark of action, not too much forethought.
Right.
For Kinesis, I took some slots in Skirmish. JoJo is quite scrappy and Wayfare. JoJo is used to making quick exits and entrances and is pretty apt at navigating their surroundings.
Right. So skirmish there is in pitched combat, fight someone in hand-to-hand or with melee weaponry, exchange plasma fire across low cover, and you got 2 points there. And wayfare across the land, free run across crumbling ruins, traverse unfamiliar terrain, forage for food. 2 dots there.
And then for semiosis, I have 1 point in Connect. JoJo is pretty gregarious. They think they get along with everybody. Whether or not that's accurate is remains to be seen. And I took 2 points in Tune. JoJo is very, very connected to themselves and their surroundings, and tries to bring a good energy.
Yeah. So connect, the flavor text here is connect with people emotionally, persuade from a position of genuine belief, express vulnerability, offer comfort and support. Whereas tune says, tune yourself to the world, feel the pulse of transcendent forces, sense danger or hostility, commune with an animal or spirit. Thank you. So that tells us all about Jojo, our wonderful bipedal shark person, or shork, I should say, a warrior on a quest.
I would like to note, before we move on, that any resemblances to the combat art of Hamon or the anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure are entirely incidental.
I'm glad to know that. I've only seen one season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the first one.
One is all you need.
I know there's a Dio, and he shows up when you don't expect him to, and he hates dogs.
Oh, he's a bad man.
Yeah, I don't know if I can handle characters that don't like dogs. What the heck?
He does
is
bad
wrong
things
with
to
that?
dogs, and that was enough for me.
Yeah.
I can't recommend that show.
Indeed.
Kickers.
Okay, next up, we have our Kestrel. Kestrel is a sharp-eyed tracker and scout, which is played by Michael Blood. So why don't you tell us about your character?
Well, why don't I? So, reaching through the night, bittersweetly we recall last days of summer, is a starfish cyborg mech who is a centauran and a starfish. And they're just like a purple starfish in a fish tank that's inside a little mech suit. And I love them. I love him so much.
Yeah.
His name is Reaching Through the Night. Some people call him Reaching, some people call him Night. His pronouns are he, him. As I said, he's a starfish cyborg mech. You know what he looks like. He's from the Centauran flotilla, or at least what the part of it that survived the transition into the emergency. His background is he was a scout for the Centauran military in whatever form that took. His anchors to the community are commitment to his life partners, a duty to the flotilla remnants, that he's still a part of the military, but it's not as centralized as it was before, and he wishes to establish a lasting peace between all the disparate factions inside the city and in the world beyond, if that world still exists.
Here's hoping.
Here's hoping. We don't know.
Play to find out.
I hope we find out. My community relationship is eerily similar to that of JoJo. This community is a safe place for me and my loved ones, and the people here need me to protect it. So Reaching views himself as a protector, and he wants to live here, at least for the time being, and be able to make a life here. As the Kestrel, he has a few crazy magic abilities that make him wonderful. His starting ability is Seventh Sense, so I understand the world around me better than most, and I can generate harmony, which is like our what was the equivalent in Scum and Villainy?
Gambits, basically.
Gambits, yes. So that's our gambits in this system. When there's a question about who asks first, the answer is me. I'm very fast starfish. My first special ability other than that is Charm Veil. So I can take stress to cover myself in a cloak of magic shadow, and I can burn more stress to do other things with it. Like basically cover the group in some dark shadows and move around. Be super sneaky. And my melody ability is Red Eyes Shining. I can play my melody to resist a hidden or unexpected danger, or to push myself when you act quickly and decisively. So if I get involved into a scrap that's happening very quick, I'm like a magic predator.
All right.
And of course, my little ability, my actions rather, that's what they're called. Under analysis, I have one tick in Sunder and Trace. Under Kinesis, I have a tick in Finesse and Shadow, and 2 ticks on Wayfare. And under Semiosis, I have a single tick in Tune. Okay.
For some reason, your Semiosis count on your sheet is broken, and I tried to fix it, and it did not work. Don't know why. Sorry.
That's what I do. I deprogram sheets. I come in and I mess them up. That's going to be my goof for this whole season.
Can't wait to hear that. Okay. So Sunder is under analysis. So it's really interesting that this is the type of action that would normally be under like physical stuff in other Forge in the Dark games. But here it's based on your ability to see and understand and figure things out. So Sunder doors apart, set explosives, hack into firewalls, shear off armor, disable or sabotage vehicles, destroy with overwhelming force. All of those fall under Sunder, which is a fantastic way of saying that Sunder is just basically taking things apart in ways they're not supposed to be, which is why it's under analysis there. Now, trace a target's location or path, find something or someone hidden, attack with precision shooting from a distance. We have finesse under kinesis, finesse something into or out of someone's pocket, carefully bandage wounds, handle a mount or vehicle, play an instrument, and shadow a target, sneak past security, vanish into a hiding place, spy or eavesdrop, ambush with close violence. And we've already looked at Wayfare and Tune. So thank you very much, Michael. Any closing thoughts before we move on to the next character?
I'm just a really dangerous starfish person, and I'm really excited.
Dangerous but lovable.
Purple.
All right. Now, next up, we have the Beacon. The Beacon is a compelling and well-spoken negotiator. Our Beacon this season will be played by Kickers. Would you like to tell us about your Beacon?
Hi, everyone. Yes. Returning to Season 3 is Keva Jarma. With she, as she, her pronouns. As you previously said, she is a compelling and well-spoken negotiator. Her form is radiant, which I don't know what exactly that means, but her look,
just humans.
Yeah, okay. So her look is station chic, which is good for hot days and cold nights. Her heritage is the Hablon Station heritage. If you've listened to Season 1 and parts of Season 2, you're familiar with them. And her background is Sunbreaker, which, again, you will be familiar with if you've listened to Season 1 and Season 2. Basically, Hablon and the Sunbreakers. Hablon was this gigantic space station, to catch you all up, that the League of Orbital Nations created to orbit around Earth. Because of the emergency and the mistake, it migrated to the asteroid belt, and cats needed some treats. But anyway, and then the Sunbreakers were our player characters from Season 1 that came and were resisting the tyrannical puppet government that had taken over Hablon. Keva's anchors are duty. She feels called to be taking care of her community. Relationship with Emran Pak, her fiance at this point, and curiosity, which I have called into the unknown. She really wants to know what is out there, what exists inside of this giant being. And because Keva is from Season 1 and Season 2, she does have some quirks, unlike the other characters. So her two quirks, it works differently than the traumas in Season 2. These are more just like things that have affected her. It's not necessarily always negative things. For her, she has a fear of letting people down and doesn't like eggs due to a particular egg-shaped villain. She's fine with soft shell eggs. It's just the hard shell eggs that she has a problem with. Now, her relationship with the community is that her community trusts her and she needs to prove herself worthy.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how that goes as well, given the fact that she will probably have an existing, reputation in the community to begin with.
So now I go into my abilities.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah, so the Beacon starting ability is called De-Escalation. Whenever you spend harmony while speaking, hostilities and danger also pause while you speak. And I figure that because of Keva's unique hacking abilities, this might also mean when she's telekinetic, charged up to someone, I figure that when she's talking to them in that probably also goes over there. Then for her other Beacon special harmony ability, she has Won't Go Quiet. You can play your melody to resist a social consequence or to push yourself when trying to connect with or persuade people.
It's a handy one to have.
Yes. And lastly, because Keva is returning, she has a third ability borrowed from actually the Aegis playbook, which is called Charm Guard. You can generate an impenetrable field of translucent energy. In this case, it's not necessarily translucent energy. It's her hair. And you can spend 2 stress to weave a field big enough to protect a medium-sized group of people, about 20, and the field lasts for a few minutes.
Okay. Just before you go on there, I just want to take a moment to talk about stress, because I think that's the first time this came up here. Oh, no, you had Charm Veil as well. So stress is a resource in Forged in the Dark games. And It's a track that you fill up whenever there's a variety of ways that you can gain stress. One of them is pushing yourself. One of them is when you resist, you take a certain amount of stress. And there are 9 boxes on your stress track. And if you fill up all 9 of your boxes, you basically get dropped out of the scene for some reason, whatever fictionally fits. And when you return, your stress is cleared, but you have a new quirk.
Yeah, and that's happened to Keva twice.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. So, like in Keva's case, she like passed out for a short time, or
Got stuck in a cocoon.
Yeah. It was nice though. It was a nice cocoon.
It was very solidly constructed. So I guess that's 2 of our characters who've been in cocoons at some point in this game now.
Huh.
Metapod gang, rise up.
All right, tell us about your actions.
Right. So, under analysis, Keva has 1 dot in decipher, 1 dot in shape, and 1 dot in sunder. Decipher is like deciphering a code or a person's true intent, etc. Basically doing research, that sort of thing. Shape is shape new technology, modify existing machinery, write code, deploy hardware. It's kind of like a repair or a hack skill from previous systems. Sunder does break things up. Keva's strong. She can break some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, in Kinesis, Keva only has 1 tick, and that's for skirmish, which is fighting. Fight with someone in hand-to-hand or with a weapon, shooting a gun, all that plasma weapon.
Yeah, it's in close fighting.
Yeah, so there's close fighting. So then where Keva is strongest is semiosis. Semiosis. Sorry, everyone. I can't read words.
No need to apologize. It's an unusual word that most people never see in their lives.
Yep. So Keva only has 1 tick in the skill called Bluff, which is pretty self-explanatory. You bluff someone, you appeal to their emotional needs, lie convincingly, persuade with charm or guile. Generally more charm when it comes to Keva.
Mm-hmm. And we know the descriptions of Connect and Tune already, but how many points do you have in there?
I have 2 in each.
So Keva has more points than the other characters, with her being a more experienced one, because she's being ported over from 2 seasons worth of experience resisting Empire and being a rebel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We decided to give her some extra advances, sort of in exchange for having those quirks that she also took on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to tell us about Keva before we move to the last character?
She's small but mighty.
Though she be small, she is fierce.
Yeah.
Wait, I quoted that wrong, didn't I?
I don't know. I was quoting a video about little fish, but...
Though she be but little, she is fierce.
Mm.
A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yar.
Okay.
Sorry, I got Tina a T-shirt with that on it from Bard on the Beach one year.
Oh,
I need one.
Heck yeah. We definitely need to get you one.
Yeah, I'm only 5'1". I need it.
That's in Small But Fierce Gang. Definitely.
For sure. And that brings us to our final character for the moment, which is a Scrapper. The Scrapper is a savvy technician and mechanic. And this season, our Scrapper will be played by Trudy. Would you like to tell us about your Scrapper?
Yes. So I'm going to be playing Ollie Oxenfree. Their pronouns are they, them. They're an adapted possum, but they were born that way. They didn't have anything done to them. They were just born that way. They are a short possum person that wears overalls, boots, a simple white top. They have a page boy's cap with goggles perched on the brim. So they basically look like they're out there working, which goes well for their background because that's what they do. They're a repair person, and they fix things as one might expect from a scrapper. Their heritage is the ruderal bloom. And their anchor is that they want to be able to create and repair anything. And this is a great place as any to really do that because we kind of have a hodgepodge of people and a hodgepodge of tech that will give them the skills to be able to follow their dreams.
Yeah.
Ollie has a tendency to hyperfixate on tech. And so they probably come across as a little bit flaky to the other members of their community, which is why their community relationship And their belief about their community relationship is that their community can count on them for anything involving tech, but not much else. And that's in part because of their hyperfixation.
Mm-hmm.
So Ollie's starting ability is Hotfix. When you spend Harmony on a roll to repair, modify, upgrade, or sabotage technology, you gain +1 impact. When you invent or craft mundane technology, you get 1+ result level to your roll. A 1 to 3 becomes a 4 to 5, etc. You begin with 1 special blueprint already known.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure that one out. Not necessarily today, but we will figure that out.
We will. And then they also get 2 other special abilities. The first is Brave New Foundry. You can play your melody to resist a consequence from technological malfunction damage or to push yourself when modifying, repairing, or building machinery. The other is Charm Hack. You may push yourself to do one of the following: instantly repair or sabotage technology in the immediate area, mystically assemble new technology from available materials, scrap an old tech. What was that?
Something on Velvet's end.
Yeah, no, somebody sent me something that I thought was them needing me to translate something, and it was a meme. So
Translate this meme, please.
yeah, I apologize for that.
Translate the cultural significance as well as the actual language, please.
Well, you see, in 1406,
Okay, tell us. Sorry. All right, can you tell us about Ollie's action points?
Yeah, it probably comes as no surprise, but most of their action points are in analysis, and I think we went over all or maybe most of these. They have 1 point in Decipher, 2 points in Shape, 1 point in Sunder, and 1 point in Trace.
Yeah, they got 1 and everything there.
Yeah.
Well, 2 and 1, but sorry, they got something and everything there.
Something and everything. They only have 1 point in Kinesis, and that's under Wayfair. And in Semiosis, they have 1 point in Connect.
That makes sense for the character we've got.
Yep.
We'll see how they grow or whether they continue to focus on just the technology.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this game, there's a couple of other mechanics that have been mentioned here that I'd like to just go over quickly. One is Harmony. Harmony is a resource that represents your crew's understanding of both each other and their place in the world. So unlike a gambit, you gambit in Scum and Villainy was because you're playing scrappy, criminals and underdogs and stuff like that. And so the gambit represented just the general luck of a scoundrel, whereas Harmony is about understanding. And to experience Harmony is to see with perfect clarity where you are relative to your allies and your goals. This is meant in both the literal and metaphorical sense. Spending Harmony to clamber up a mountain might mean understanding exactly the route you need to get to the top quickly and haul your friends up after you, but spending it to convince somebody might mean seeing exactly what their insecurities are and knowing how to address them. To use Harmony is to have, for a split second, perfect insight into how the world fits together and what your place in it is. Any player character, can spend Harmony during an action roll to add +1 die to the roll. You can only spend it once per roll. You generate Harmony in 2 ways. At the end of each downtime, you reset crew Harmony to 2. In addition, every time you roll a 6 or critical result on a desperate action or a teamwork maneuver, you generate Harmony. This happens even if you've spent Harmony on that roll. If you're lucky enough, sometimes you'll spend Harmony and immediately regenerate it. Harmony is a useful resource that's intended to be used frequently, so don't be shy about spending it. So yeah, Harmony is really cool, and I like how there's more ways to generate it. Like, not only is it 6 or criticals on desperate actions, but also any teamwork maneuver. Anytime you do a teamwork maneuver, you generate Harmony if there's a 6 in there somewhere or a critical in there somewhere. So it really encourages you as players to do those teamwork actions, teamwork maneuvers, and help each other out in that way. And then just to use them because they're useful. The other thing was a Lotus Gambit. And now, like most Forged in the Dark games, there is a tool here, a Lotus Gambit, that allows the person who's running the game, me in this case, to complicate the narrative in exchange for a mechanical benefit. So this is one of the 3 ways to get bonus dice. One of them is to get help from a teammate. They take 1 stress, they say how they help you, and you get +1 die in your roll. The second way is to push yourself, which takes 2 stress, or accept a Lotus Gambit. You can't get dice for both, it's one or the other. And then the third way is to spend Harmony. So a Lotus Gambit tells us that the characters of songs are daring adventurers who are often willing to take dramatic risks to accomplish their goals, and sometimes those risks come with unintended consequences. To reflect this, the MC or any other player can offer you a bonus die if you accept a Lotus Gambit. Common Lotus Gambits include collateral damage or unintended harm, lose gear or shells, which is a currency, upset or betray a friend or loved one, anger a faction, start or advance a threatening clock, add heat to the crew from hostile witnesses, or suffer harm. So when you take a Lotus Gambit, it occurs regardless of the outcome of the roll. You make the gamble and you pay the price and you get the bonus die. The Lotus Gambit is always a free choice. If you don't like it, just reject it or suggest how to alter it so you might consider taking it. You can always just push yourself for that bonus die instead. If it's ever needed, the MC has final say over which Lotus Gambits are valid. So you are welcome to offer each other Lotus Gambits, and I encourage you to do so. And if they are like too wild or not appropriate, then I'll step in and say maybe we can alter this a little bit. But yeah, it's going with the general theme I talked about in the post-mortem from seasons 1 or 2. I really want to encourage a lot more of all of you making suggestions, and even more than you already have, making suggestions and giving these options to each other.
So we can't be like, you will get more, you will get an extra die if you give Keva all of your cheese.
No, not unless giving Keva all of your cheese would cause unintended harm or collateral damage, or upset or betray a friend or loved one. So if you can work it in there, for sure.
I've sworn off the cheese for 30 years.
What if it upsets you? Because you wanted that cheese.
So we're thinking about. Okay, otherwise, the position and impacts are pretty similar to what you're used to. Every action roll will have position and impact. The position will be controlled, risky, or desperate. Controlled is you have the perfect opportunity. Potential consequences include minor harm, reduced impact, a minor complication, or loss of control as you shift to a risky position. When you roll a 4 or 5 from a controlled position, you can always choose to withdraw and try a different approach if you want to avoid the consequences. But when you roll a 1 to 3, your plan's less controlled than you thought. You can either switch to a different approach or try the same tactic again from a risky position. Risky is where you spend most of your time, as we're used to, risky standard. You're going head to head. You're acting while in danger. You're taking a chance, but not an impossible one. Potential consequences include serious harm, reduced impact, a serious complication, or loss of control as you shift to a desperate position. Desperate is you're in serious trouble. You're making a huge gamble. You're reaching way beyond your means. Potential consequences include severe harm, reduced impact, or a disastrous complication. Whenever you roll a desperate action, you mark XP in that action's attribute. When you have 6 experience in an attribute, you can erase them all to add another action dot. Positions must correspond to the fiction and vice versa. If you fall to a desperate position, it's not just that your opponent is stronger than you thought, it's that they've knocked you flat on your back while they stand over you with a blade. If you're in a controlled position, then it's the opposite. You're the one with the weapon, and they're the one on the ground. Impact is high, standard, or low. It's how much impact your actions will have. It's the way to measure the effect your actions will have on the world around you. The more of an impact you have, the fewer actions it'll take to achieve your goal, and vice versa. So I will judge the impact level using the profiles for high, standard, or low. High impact is you're more effective than usual. How does that show? What extra benefit do you get? If there's a clock, you tick 3 segments on high impact. Standard impact, you make pretty much the impact you'd expect. Is that enough, or is there more left to do? If there's a clock, you tick 2 segments. And low impact, you're only partly or weakly effective. What reduces your impact? What's left to do to accomplish your goal? If there's a clock, tick 1 segment. And, in general, I go with my gut on this, but if necessary, if we're in a situation where we disagree or we really need to try and math it out, you can look at 3 factors to determine impacts, which are potency, scale, and quality. And we'll get to that if it comes up, but those are just things that can affect the impact. Now, there are ways to have different types of impact. There's also 0 impact, which means you will have no effect on the goal or the obstacle, and you can try to push yourself or get help or something, or do setup actions to improve that to standard. And there's also extreme impact if you push beyond high impact, which would be 5 ticks or something along those lines. So if you have a special ability that gives you +1 impact, that comes into play after I have assessed the impact level. And of course, remember, you can push yourself to get +1 impact on your action or +1 die. Okay, so those are the basics. You can also resist consequences if something comes up and you don't like it and it's not part of a Lotus Gambit. You can resist. You tell me how you are resisting, and that determines which of your attributes you roll. And your attribute resistance roll is based on how many ticks you have in the first column of an action. So, for example, Ollie has at least 1 point in all 4 analysis actions, which means that Ollie would resist using analysis by rolling 4 dice. Whereas on the other hand, if we look at Jojo, Jojo has no dots in anything in analysis. So Jojo would roll 0 die if they needed to resist with analysis, which would mean roll 2 dice and take the lower result. Now, do you have any questions about the basic mechanics before we move along here to my players?
I feel that it's pretty similar to the previous system, so I don't have any questions jumping out at me right now.
Yeah, in terms of the basics, it's basically the same. It's Forged in the Dark. But mechanically, like, there's a lot of cool new stuff in here. I love what Songs is doing to push this in new directions, but the basics are the same there. Okay, so that's it for playbooks and basics on the system. The system is broken up into missions and downtime. Missions are when you go out and do stuff. Before you do a mission, you gather information and make a plan, and you do an engagement roll. And then after you do the mission, you go into downtime, which is where you rest and recover and try and pursue your own goals. We're going to take a little break at this point, and we're going to have snacks or eat lunch. And once we come back from our break, we are going to build our community, which is the last step that we need to do to get this game ready to roll.
Ooh.
Yay.
All right, we're back, and we are going to build our community now. So in order to build your community, there's a variety of steps to follow in Chapter 3 of the book, Songs for the Dusk, Crew Creation. So choose a crew type. Your crew consists of a selection of special abilities, a few unique upgrades, and a unique XP trigger. Picking a crew type focuses the scope of your job and helps narrow down the kind of missions you'll tend to run. It's not a totally restrictive decision. A crew of couriers might sometimes, quote-unquote, liberate resources, like silvers, or try to protect people, like rangers. But the core activity of the crew type is the most frequent way they earn shells and XP for advancement. There are 5 crew types. Augurs. Augurs are passionate scientists and investigators. They solve mysteries and uncover things, both old and new. Couriers. Couriers are hardy transporters. Couriers move supplies and connect people with trade and aid relationships. Magpies. Magpies are clever techs and scavengers. They salvage old tech and turn it into new and helpful machinery. Rangers. Rangers are agile scouts and defenders. They defend and rescue the innocent and stop those who would oppress them. And silvers. Silvers are thieves with hearts of gold. They get supplies from the wealthy to the needy by hook or by crook. Like a character playbook, your crew type is also how you're known across Tamaris, or in our case, across the Inflorescence. When the people of this world see you, they think rangers or magpies or couriers, and they'll treat you accordingly. Choosing a crew type is extremely important. This is how your group decides on the missions you want to do. It organizes your game by focusing helping people to scavenging and repairing old tech or fighting off the Red Empire, which itself helps the me narrow their focus onto the parts of the setting relevant to your missions instead of having to juggle every faction in the book. Choose a crew type that all of you, both the players and the MC, are excited about. Remember, you're about to spend several hours playing these kinds of missions. If you feel lukewarm about any of the options, speak up. Once you've picked, grab the appropriate crew sheet and record these choices as you go, deciding as a group each time. Now, I had suggested magpies, but I can also see couriers or even augurs working for our goal here. So the goal here is to stitch back together Gov's domain, find where the rest of it is, and find how to reconnect it through those rifts that we have discovered and been manipulating in this setting. So how do we stitch it back together? So how do we all feel about these options? I don't think we're rangers in this season. I don't think we're silvers in this season. You can see the playbooks for the different crews there if you scroll over to the right. You can see them over there.
Yeah, I was looking at some of them. Like, I was looking at the beginning of the Songs for the Dusk book, and they said different touchstones. And one of the things that really resonated with me was Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, particularly like the red or the blue team version or whatever. It's also the version that got ported to the Switch recently that I played. Mm-hmm. And basically, the plot of the game is that you are a Pokemon with another Pokemon, and you guys go rescue Pokemon or help Pokemon that are stuck in these mystery dungeons of said name. And I kind of thought that was like, oh, that makes sense for us. That's what we kind of are, is basically like, oh, well, we're going to go check this out, help people, and maybe, deal with stuff at home.
Okay. And sorry, you were saying which one of the... was this
right.
linked to a crew type that you found most appealing?
I don't know if we're necessarily scavengers as a team. Like, I can see Ollie as being, like, that's something that they are doing as we work, but I don't know if that's the whole point of the team.
Yeah, it's like the point of the team is to go and find these connections and figure out how to make them without, causing harm to the other realities we have to pass through. It's like you're building bridges, literally and figuratively. You're interdimensional infrastructure workers.
So I guess it's kind of like maybe couriers. Couriers is a little bit closer. So we could argue that with magpies, instead of like taking in tech as much, it's more like we are finding other things, or other groups, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I can see any of these three working. Like investigators and scientists, it doesn't seem like any of the characters we currently have fit in there. But I think definitely if we can narrow it down from there to couriers or magpies, like the scavenger thing might be useful, salvaging old tech, turning it into new machinery. But moving supplies and connecting people with trade and aid relationships might be closer to what we are aiming for, as you said. Does anyone else have thoughts on which of these is a better fit for, or you're more interested in as well? You can take a look at like the abilities and such as well. For example, the couriers, they've got go for miles. Each player character may add +1 action rating to shape, finesse, or wayfare. All hands. During downtime, one of your experts may perform a downtime activity for the crew to acquire an asset, lose heat, or work on a long-term project. Experts are NPCs who are supporters of your crew, like the cohorts that we almost never used back in Scum and Villainy.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we can try and use those more this time around. Distributed weight, it's all about how you arrange the pockets. Your crew can carry +2 load. I'm not sure if that means +2 load each, or it's probably each, right?
It's gotta be each.
Yeah.
It's like Assassin's Rigging. Assassin's Rigging was just +2 load for everybody.
Yeah, that's probably right. I'm going to ask in the Discord,
for sure,
just to clarify while we're also looking at the rest of these.
I really like One of Us and Punch It so much.
Which one? Where's that one?
It's under couriers. One of Us is one of the crew's vehicles is an expert.
Oh.
And like, not that it has a personality, but just like we are so good at being in this thing that it counts as an expert.
Does that mean?
Oh wait, I mean
the Express.
Yeah, we shared a brain cell there. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, pretty much. And then there's Punch It, which is whenever you enter danger aboard a vehicle, you gain +1 impact for vehicle speed and maneuverability. And you don't suffer worse position when moving around on the outside of a high-speed vehicle. And our vehicles all gain a slot of armor. So Punch It is great because like our vehicles get better, all our vehicles get armor, and we are really good at operating on fast-moving vehicles.
That is really good, yeah.
I love Punch It. I would vote couriers if you wanted to twist my rubber arm.
All right, so we've also got, just go through the other abilities there. Experts talk logistics. You run supplies and people between factions, and those factions are usually willing to dig a little deeper to make sure it gets done. Whenever you get paid, take +1 shell. Mutual aid, you can use a downtime activity to establish or build up a positive relationship with another faction. Spend shells equal to the faction's tier to increase your status by +1 with them. And then One of Us and Punch It are the last abilities there.
Talked about that at this point, the Express only has legs and it can't fly.
Mm-hmm.
But it is really fast.
But it is still fast because I actually had an idea of what the legs look like. Which is something Sonic, which is you guys probably got because I giggled.
I was assuming, yes.
Yeah, it's Tails' airplane. Basically, he has an airplane, the Cyclone, that in Sonic Adventure 2, for some reason, it gets legs. It can transform and it has legs. And I was thinking, that's what the Express's legs look like now.
I have Googled Tails' Cyclone legs, and I am seeing that. And yeah, I mean, it's the Express has always had those chicken drumsticks thrusters, and no reason those can't fold down into legs.
I think that's what happened at this point, and then it's stuck like that, can't fly till we figure out how to fix it, like you said.
Okay. Velvet, Trudy, do you have a vote one way or another on the couriers versus magpies here?
Put me down for couriers.
Yeah, we can do couriers.
Okay. I will move that to the top of the list.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
At long last.
So
I
Punch
must
it.
go fast.
Gonna go heckin' fast.
To say something that is a secret for later in the season, but I will not say it. I will type it.
Okay. All right. What is next step? We've picked the crew type. We're going to go to couriers. Okay. Pick your specialty. Take a look at the different types of missions. Your crew can run and get experience for all of them, but every crew's got a favorite specialty that they're exceptionally fond of. Your specialty is what sets your starting foundation. Okay. Let me see here. Where is this? Is this under specialties? Couriers, specialties. Okay. You specialize in specific types of transportation. Choose a type from the list to be your specialty. We have got, let's see, looks like 3 specialties. Okay. First specialty is key supplies. Farming supplies, water purifiers, insulated clothing, construction materials, long-range communications equipment, and plenty of other necessities for the many varied environments of the inflorescence. The starting foundation is a carrier truck. This heavy hover truck comes equipped with similarly hovering pallets to help you transport crates of supplies and materials. Delicate materials is the second specialization. Prototype tech, antibiotics and vaccines, rare plants, fragile artifacts, and more. If it's fragile and needs to traverse dangerous territory, you're the ones to call. I'm already leaning this way a bit. Starting foundation is impact mesh. Latticed webs of shock-absorbing material that you can apply to objects or line containers with. Objects cradled in impact mesh have armor against kinetic impacts. And people. Refugees and evacuees, diplomats and important figures, medics and first responders, and anybody else who needs to get somewhere quickly and safely. Starting foundation is convoy vehicles. You have a fleet of rugged vehicles equipped with beds, food storage and refrigeration, water purifiers, etc., to help large groups of people cross long distances. I think we're probably key supplies or delicate materials. Any thoughts on these? This is on page 89.
I think it's hard because I want to say that we might also take people, but I would say that key supplies might be our normal thing.
Yeah, it's not that you can't do the others. It's just what's your specialty? What do you specialize in? What's your main focus? The reason I'm thinking delicate materials is the prototype tech stuff, which is like the Rift stuff.
Yeah.
But that might also be key supplies, like construction materials, long-range communications equipment. Those are also. So basically it comes down to, do you want a truck or impact mesh?
Oh, the impact mesh sounds so much cooler. So much more
Listen, we could steal a hover truck.
I vote impact mesh.
Impact mesh then.
Okay. So I will write down that our specialty is delicate materials. Where do I put this on here? Here it is. Okay. Delicate materials, which means
materials could be people.
That is true.
Precious cargo.
Impact mesh on here.
You can't like moving one giant tank of
Specialties.
Centurion children from one spot to another.
Okay, good. There we've got impact mesh, and that's delicate materials. Your crew name. Well, you're part of the Wayfinders Guild, but you probably have your own name because the Wayfinders Guild is lots and lots of people. We don't need to figure that out yet, but that is something to keep in mind. Like that might be something that comes up in play too. Okay, so that's specialties.
Finder 7. No, Finder 6.
Okay, so we've got pick your specialty, build your community. All right, next it's time to take a look at your community sheet. Follow the prompts on the sheet to build out your community as a table, deciding on its location, geographical, structural, and aesthetic features, and figuring out where your crew's base fits in. When you get to the lists of prompts, choose 3 or 4 of each. You can always add more later, but for now it's best not to get carried away. So the location, we know that the location is in the Ruderal Bloom, which is where the city is located. And geographical features. Now this is something that, so we are basing this on the city that we built in, I'm sorry, did you say Street Magic? Make sure to check out those episodes. I think they are really fantastic, creative, and fun. But if you all have the Ginkgo thing open here that we use to play that game, we can look at what's in our community. We never really determined. We said it was organic, cultivated like a garden, a blend of magic and technology. It's amphibious because there's both above water and below water settlements there. The tone adjectives are bright, kinetic, eclectic, and hungry. And let's see here. So how is this going to translate, do we think, into here? Geographical features. Let's start with that. Geographical features is shattered earth, caverns, stalactites, cliff sides, creeping vines, cloud-kissed peaks, lava flows, strange flora, an ocean, a flowing river, a forest or jungle, a brushland, a desert, crystalline megaliths, urban streets, ruined industry, radiant structures, sand, mist, snowdrifts, thunderstorms, etc. So we never really went into what the landscape is of the Rudero Bloom area that the city has landed in. We know about what the city itself looks like, but what's the surrounding area? Like, we know there's a plain somewhere because that's where Capybaral does the farming, but and there's some burrows somewhere. But like, which of these geographical features, if we can pick, I think they said 3 to 4, would be interesting for us for our home?
I like strange flora.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely have the strange flora because of the different like trees and other organic things that we're growing to build buildings with and all that. So then, well, this is a part of Hablon. So I want to say that it's probably like the outside, like around the city. It's kind of this, I don't want to say just sand, but more like the mountains near LA, like the area that like some of the old mining on mountain sort of areas. So like rocks and gorse bush and, that sort of not dead. But then when you get inside the city, we have canals, a river, lagoon, so.
Are we talking about Badlands?
Might be what I'm talking about. I'm trying to think of where that is generally. Like
that would be Drumheller in Alberta, Toadstool Park in Nebraska.
That wasn't what I was thinking of. I was thinking of this place where there's this silver mine. And they used to have a lake there, but they drained it completely to for providing water for LA. Okay, the town is Cerro Gordo, so let me figure that out.
Is it shrubland or
trees?
Scrubland doesn't have to have trees. It's a plant community, vegetation dominated by shrubs, grasses, herbs, and geophytes. Are you thinking of something with vegetation or with very little vegetation?
I'm saying the outside of it doesn't have as much vegetation. Like, I'm going to send you all, like, this is what it looked like before.
Okay.
But I imagine that it's grown up more so that there would be patches of grass and there would be more shrubs. That this is just what it looked like before. So it's more lush than this, but this sort of geographical features.
I put a picture in there. Is this kind of what you're thinking of?
Where?
I just put it in the vision board there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I was just imagining mountains in the background. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay. Mount Kilimanjaro has a similar vibe. That's some pictures of the area around Mount Kilimanjaro.
Mm-hmm.
It's low vegetation, kind of dusty kind of deal. Is this what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay. So I'm going to put in strange flora. I mean, that's just called brushlands. So I'll put brushlands. Let's see. So Trudy and Kickers, you both added one here. Mike, do you have one, or Velvet? You can either pick from the list or if you have something else.
Can we have lightning storms?
I like ambient bad vibes in the distance. Yeah.
So is it like, do lightning storms come through the area, or are they, you just see them? There are areas that are that's a lightning storm all the time.
The latter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just casual lightning, just the odd reminder that the sky could strike you down at any moment.
I'm going to put lightning zones.
Yeah. They're like danger zones, but electrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this like the lightning area in Final Fantasy X?
God, I hated that area.
I know.
See what I mean? Bad vibes.
So we've got strange flora, brushlands and mountains, lightning zones, and I want to say a flowing river because there's that river that goes through the city, right?
Yeah.
Like the river Styx, it touches all realms.
Oh gosh, it passes through the lightning zones. So that's where we got our hydroelectricity from.
Yeah. Just thinking about CD saying what you just said, Mike. That's what CD would say.
See? We're connected.
Okay. So yeah, there's a river that comes from somewhere. I'm going to say it probably comes from the stem. Like it comes from where this pedal is attached to the digestive system of the emergency. There's a river coming from there, and then it flows up to the Widdershins and then just goes, we don't know, wherever the Widdershins goes.
Where the Widdershins go. That's it's going to be like a YA novel soon.
It's going to take place in this horrible city, in this bad place.
It's a nice city.
The city's wonderful.
It's just got lightning zones.
So yeah, that's what I mean.
Just look out for the lightning zones. You're fine.
I think the lightning zones are probably like out around the city.
Yeah, they're just casual lightning zones. Like you don't got to stress about them.
Like, oh, well, you go out the city, but make sure you don't take a right turn out of this road because then you'll reach one of the lightning zones, and that's where we put our lightning rods to power this part of the city.
Oh, okay. So we had lightning, like that lightning storm appearing from the rift at the end of Monster Care Squad that we just did with Kavita.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like lightning forests where instead of trees, it's just lightning?
Holy shit.
Yeah, what? You are a genius.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to change that to lightning.
Grow on trees.
Forests.
Contrary to what me nans, lightning does grow on trees.
So that you can go in there. The lightning's not like moving that much. Like it's vibrating. It's sizzling, but like you can walk through a lightning zone, but your hair's going to stand up on end. And don't touch those trees.
Yeah.
On you, I'm a fish.
Don't. Just don't wear a big metal suit of armor like someone.
maybe get a rubber over that.
Yeah.
Just
safety first.
Fishbowl in a mech suit wearing like a rubber jumper.
Maybe Reaching has specifically a rubberized alternate mech suit just for lightning zone work.
Can you imagine though, like the lightning zone, like you have the lightning zone rangers and like they wear just this like whole like rubber onesie top of their head to the tip of their toe and
all of their veins are constantly outlined.
You just hear them like from a mile away.
They're when they're in town, everyone's like, "Oh, look, it's the Lightning Rangers," and they're like, "Yes, we're the Lightning Rangers. It's not what you think."
Please.
And they're full body rubber suits.
I know that we're 17 people in full body rubber suits, but
it's not what you think.
Hear me out. That's in the Pox Cauldron. You want that? You go there.
That is the Pox Cauldron.
You know that the Lightning Rangers are Lightning Rangers because they have like a bolt of lightning on their chest. If they don't, then you know.
You've got to get the squad tattoo. Everyone has it.
It's on the one, the suit. I mean, you can get that tattoo, but
don't want to be stolen valor. Structural elements.
Oh my lord.
So we pick 3 to 4 of these structural elements. So I guess we can each pick one again, like we did with the geographical. So we've got windmills, broken tide generators, terrace farms, hangars, silos, workbenches, dry fountains, columns, makeshift temples, tents, gardens, tree houses, train tracks, pavement, a tower, shipping containers, modest brick buildings, bridges, watchtowers, fences, sculptures, lampposts, a derelict ship, etc. Now we have some of this stuff already from the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's tree houses.
Yeah, literal tree houses. Okay, so I'll put in what's the word I want here? What's the word for things that are like trees and mushrooms and stuff?
Flora?
Is there a word that's not flora? I wonder.
Vegetation, plant life, organic homes.
Yeah, just organic has the implications of like also could be meat, and it's not
flesh
that.
Home.
Yeah, it's not that.
Welcome to the Flesh District.
All right, so
the Flesh Cathedral is in another game.
That's canon.
Let's go plant buildings. Okay.
There you
go. All right, plant buildings.
Our floral arcology.
Any of the other elements that y'all would like to see here?
Derelict ships, plural.
Oh yeah, from the fleet and such. Yeah.
I love that.
I think there's sculptures and too.
What kind of sculptures?
Living sculptures.
I need to talk about how it was curated like a garden in a way, or not attended like a garden.
Yeah, so I don't know. They're different types of sculptures. Depends on what district you're in.
Okay, so but there is a lot of sculpture in the city.
Yeah, every city has like sculptures and statues and stuff. Statues are sculptures. Only this statue over here, this one is just of a giant pigeon.
The pigeons don't land on it.
No.
He is our godhead.
All right, we can do one more in here. Trudy, you got one? Or Velvet? If
give me someone else want to go point on this?
Sure. I would like some pillars.
Okay.
Actual pillars
of a broken sun.
a...
Okay. Oh, some of this maybe should have been under aesthetic touches. We can go back and look at this again.
Yeah.
So aesthetic touches is banners, geometric motifs, stone, wood, fabric, low buildings, tall towers, peeling paint, rusting metal, carvings, gold leaf, flowers, moss, mosaics, frescoes, tile, wrought iron, glass, string lights, handmade signs, window shutters, brick, vibrant colors, pastels, holograms, shade structures, and so on.
There's vibrant colors. Coral.
Yeah, we definitely know we have vibrant colors.
All the pastels.
Let's see.
I would like to recant my previous statement of pillars for hedge mazes.
Okay, hedge mazes.
But the bushes are all made of teeth.
No, thank you.
Why are you reading my dream journal, Mike?
I'm in your noggin.
Imagine that the leaves were like made of like flat bone, and then the berries were teeth.
Oh.
Give Colleen an inch. She'll take a mile.
That's some shamisi stuff right there.
About it, wood and fiber.
Yep.
And fiber being like plant fiber and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sure. Definitely not teeth.
No.
Okay, just checking.
I want to shout out one of our city name thoughts and have mosaic as one of our aesthetic touches.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. And we can probably fit in one more here. I'm kind of almost feeling, what's the one I was looking at here? I'm kind of feeling banners.
That works.
I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I don't know, though. Like, I don't know if banners really fit with what we're setting up here. Maybe not.
Like, I don't know. When you said that, I just thought of like different colorful dyed like pieces of cloth hanging from different areas, you know?
Holograms.
I can see that existing in the marketplace.
Yeah, we would have holograms, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hello, and welcome to Medleystead.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite stand on Medleystead.
All right. So vibrant colors, wooden fiber, mosaics, holograms. And our geographical features are strange flora, brushlands and mountains, lightning forests, a flowing river. Structural elements are plant buildings, derelict ships, varied sculptures, and hedge mazes.
Hello,
All right.
and welcome to the Citadel. I'm
I'm Hub.
Hub.
All comes back to Mass Effect on that.
Crew base. So the crew base, we get to decide. Can be a cliffside hideaway, a rock-hewn construct, a derelict ship, a collapsed train station, a canopy treehouse, laboratory ruins, a local community building, or other.
We've lived in literally almost all of these.
That's true.
What's the one we haven't lived in?
Canopy treehouse.
Okay, so that's one possibility. The other thing that popped into my head for some reason was just an old, ruined aquarium.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, go on.
With all the tanks drained, and it's just like you walk into what you think is a room, but it used to be a tank, so it's like these glass walls and like this sand and this old dead coral and all that. I don't know. Puddles on the floor.
And
Interesting.
Reaching has the only flooded one.
Yes, I am a fan.
I love it.
Okay.
I feel like this, it's part of me feels like it wasn't there before and it just sort of appeared after the emergency.
It could be something that was buried underground and like when the city was transplanted, it just kind of popped up, or it's still underground.
Okay.
This is a superhero lair, if I've ever heard of one.
I don't know why this popped into my head. I'm just like, dried out aquarium.
Well, it's because you're a genius.
Thank you. I think probably because I've been ogling other people's actual real life aquariums lately.
I put disused aquarium for the base.
Solid.
All right. Bonus foundation. Your community starts with the foundation determined by your specialty. Pick one more foundation that's already been established here and draw it on the map. This foundation doesn't cost you any caches. It comes already built. So for foundations, we're looking at Prosperity 0 foundations at the moment. So this is a huge list. And we've got adaptive hardware, cover operation, cover identities, dropjet hangar, friends in low places, hidden community, observatory, radiant archive, rover garage, lotus beacon, sacred shrine, secret pathways, terrain maps, warehouse, or workshop. And we're also going to have one additional foundation to start with, because you are part of a larger group.
Well, I'm not playing CD, so I don't need a shrine.
Okay.
What is
if you hover over the foundations, a tooltip will pop up telling you what it is.
Reading my mind.
Oh, yes, that's good.
So good. Very good.
I think the extra one that I'm going to put in here is the Rover Garage. I'm just going to fiat that one, and that's where the Express is.
Yay.
So the Rover Garage has a heavy 6-wheeled all-terrain rover and a garage to store it. The rover is equipped with cargo compartments and big enough to comfortably fit a large groups worth of people, about 20. You can hitch a trailer or truck bed to the rover. So I'm going to put that one in.
I think that a warehouse does probably make sense, since we do have a bunch of characters geared more towards gear
Mm-hmm.
and making things. But also, since we are doing the courier, a warehouse is a good idea too. Those are my 2 thoughts, but we don't have to go with those, obviously. I would say the only one I am opposed to is cover identities, because that sounds weird and
Yeah, I don't think that fits with what we're going for here. Likewise, cover operation is not really, I don't think that's really useful here.
so we can at least cross those 2 off and the one we've already taken.
I like terrain maps or warehouse, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I can go with warehouse.
Warehouse sounds good.
Okay.
Hey, just breaking in from the future. I made a mistake in the initial recording. The warehouse increases your shell storage from 6 to 12.
Construct a foundation to acquire this upgrade. Okay, so we got the warehouse, which increases your storage, and the Rover Garage for the Express.
I do really want to say, though, that somehow in the warehouse there is a sarcophagus.
I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
I think it was a gift from CD, but it's one of the paper mache ones. It was like a gift to Keva for some sort of occasion. I don't know what.
Okay, so when we choose the foundation, the warehouse, you'll also set faction statuses based on your foundations. Choose one faction that helped you assemble one of the foundations and take a +1 with them. Then pick another faction that got screwed over when you got one of your foundations and take a -1 with them. You can pick the same foundation as before or a different one. You can start with the factions local to your region if you're stuck. So this is where we might want to flip over to our factions document.
So is the Wayfinders Guild out, since technically we're a member of it?
We don't need to include them in this. No, I don't think so. And each one of you also has one of these factions here that you have and that you're going to sort of take on management for during downtimes and stuff. So Kickers, you're running the Penitent here.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's got the Free Realms Commission, and Velvet has Hades Town. And Trudy, I think you were saying the Bazaar Merchants Collective?
Yep.
Okay. So while we're here, which of these factions do you think helped you construct, we could say, either one of the foundations that we currently have? The factions in this region, we have the Penitent, which is 1S, the Free Realms Commission, 1S, that's tier 1, and S means strong, W means weak hold, which means how easy or difficult it is for them to tier up or tier down. We have the Tower. The Tower is from the game. So I guess I'll go over a little bit of these factions while we're thinking. The Penitent Kickers, do you want to tell us a bit about them?
The Penitent are generally people, pilgrims or expats, other people that had trickled into the Mosaic, or Medallistead, as is the proper name, that just have crap pass and want to help the world around them to make up for that. A bunch of people that make up the group are people from the station that were allowed to come down to the city. There's probably some Centurions there or other desperate, not desperate, though maybe they are a little bit desperate, but other people from the flotilla or what's the name for it that the Logistarch ran?
The Logistocracy?
The Logistocracy. So, you got some people that were from the Hedonarchy that felt bad that wanted to join. Maybe.
Yeah, there's probably people like former operatives of the Church of Gov who've, are realizing the role that they've had. Probably some people from the Sun are there, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, since we know who runs it is from the Sun, so.
What's the Free Realms Commission about, Mike?
So what if you had a bunch of individuals who were interested in exploring the other realms using rift jumping magitech, but they didn't really like overhead or government oversight or the Wayfinders Guild. and they were pirates. That's the Free Realms Commission. They're a bunch of dimension-hopping space pirates with a bunch of rift mages in their ranks.
All right. The Bazaar Merchants Collective is... Oh, sorry. I should say the tower here. The tower... Trudy, you came up with this in the game. It's located near the edge of the spaceport. The tower is a cloister of technophiles, dreamers, and scientists working together to achieve one goal: establishing permanent long-range communication with the other petals of the emergency. Their tags are hard work powered by enthusiasm and optimism. We have the Society for the Rediscovery of Lost Cultures. They are just outside the Hablon Pavilion in the Concord Lagoon part of the city. Research into life and culture, religions, and so on from before the sun's cultural genocide. Loud, lively, laughter and tears, the joy of connection. So their goal is to rediscover and reconstruct the lost cultures and beliefs of the many peoples who made up Hablon. The Bazaar Merchants Collective. You have something on them, Trudy, or just the basics?
I mean, basically, they're just a collection of merchants.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. The Bazaar is one of the neighborhoods in the city. Sprawling, bustling, loud, the heart of the city, a place for people to socialize and trade. Those that work or trade in the Bazaar generally live along the edge of the Bazaar proper. And that's where people celebrate Sun Day. That's a sun space day.
I forgot about this.
Yep. A festival and parade commemorating the breaking of the sun. People grumble about the inconvenience to their daily life, and the sanitation systems are overtaxed for a week afterwards, but it's a great way for everyone to unite and celebrate. Overwhelming, flashing colors, raised voices, friendly bartering in the Bazaar. This is just the people who work there. This is their loose, cooperative group. The Wayfinders Guild. This is the main faction that we're looking at here in this season. They're tier 3 with a stronghold. Bazaar Merchants Collective is also tier 3 with a stronghold. The tower is tier 2 with weak hold. Society of Rediscovery of Lost Cultures is 2 strong. Wayfinders Guild, tier 3 stronghold. And they are a place where people can meet to plan out missions to other worlds or to find out how to access those worlds, with the goal of reconnecting the missing parts of our community and creating new connections with other communities. Solemn yet optimistic, energetic conversations, connected movement both through the sky and the imagination. We have the Misfit School for Interdimensional Travel. There was some drama going on here, as I recall, where the foremost magical minds and gifted come together to research and find ways to utilize the hardened ether between realms and to create miniature rifts to use in harness. The first advancement was rift jumping on a miniature scale, a giant eclectic hodgepodge of tech and materials. Event 4 here was the Great Rift. Rogue mages using experimental rift magic tech gather too much ambient rift energy, and there's a pop. Parts of the city are replaced with parts of other places. There are now dozens of rogue mages teaching in pockets all over the city. This is probably how JoJo got here.
Yeah.
In the pop, in the Great Rift. Communal, candles burning, incantations, and pages flipping. So yeah, people are keeping a very close eye on this group. We've got the Logistics Cooperative, which is a group of people who are interested in getting things from one place to another within the city, making sure that there's food and energy and that kind of stuff. They're tier 4 because they have a lot of influence in the city. The Nexus. What is the Nexus? I wrote this down and I can't.
The Nexus is the library.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Oh,
I keep forgetting it's called the Nexus. Okay. The Nexus is a black marble pyramid repository of combined knowledge and historical records maintained by a council made up of different representatives from different factions, meant to ensure historical revision on the scale of the Gov incident does not occur again. Imposing, dissonant chanting, the smell of old tomes, and cold. And this is where the antiquarian works, aka Chain Solomon from season 2.
Chains.
Yep.
Okay. So they're tier 4. Strong as well, very influential group. We have Hades Town, tier 4 with a weak hold because of all the secrecy and a bit of distrust going on. Velvet, that's your faction. You want to tell us a bit about it? It's a neighborhood in our game.
Yeah. So it is. So Hades Town, way down under the ground, is basically the deepest pit in the Maw, and it's kind of where Maeve oversees her little horde of vermintide and giant bugs. And it's mostly mining raw resources. One of the nicer effects of the pop was that now there's all kinds of gems and metals that are, appearing along the vein tunnels where the vermintide live. And so they mine those resources and make all sorts of cool stuff with them.
All right. A center of manufacturing and forging at the heart of the Maw, utilizing magical gems as foci, dull glow, sparks, and metal pounding is our description from the game. And that's tier 4 weak hold. Tier 5 stronghold is Concord Lagoon. That is where, the all the big moves happen, like all the top level meetings and stuff. So that's bustling, artistic, cooperative, colorful, disorienting, self-important, slightly arrogant, necessary to cooperative society, viewed as kind of sanitized by many residents of the city, idealistic to naive, depending on who you ask. A dizzying array of arts and cultures, arguments and hushed tones, cultivated cooperation. So this is where people meet to figure out how are we going to live together and how do we make sure that nobody is taking advantage of our community and so on. All right. So with that in mind, who do you think helped us to get to construct the Rover Garage or the warehouse?
I want to say that it was maybe the Bazaar Merchant Collective, but I'm not certain.
Okay. What's your reasoning? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say I can see that. Kickers, do you want to give your reason?
Yeah, I'm thinking because I imagine, it's a bunch of people who have access to a lot of resources and would be able to pull some strings to say, oh, hey, can you help this, Wayfinder group build this? It's underground. It's kind of weird, but I can find the right guy or the right person for the job.
Okay.
Or group of people, that sort of thing.
I'm just going to type this in on the sheet over here under notoriety. I'm going to put +1 Bazaar Merchants Collective, and that was for the warehouse. Don't give me that error, Google Sheets. Fine, I'll put 1+ instead of +1. Take that. Okay. So then either for the Rover Garage or the warehouse, who got kind of screwed over? Like, is there someone else who wanted to have access to the Express or wanted to have access to this vehicle storage space, but you got it instead?
I want to say that the Misfit School for Interdimensional Travel or someone else, now that I think about it, I thought that maybe they would want this to the Express, but I'm not certain. Let me think more.
What about the tower?
I could see it.
Yeah.
Bunch of technophiles. Yeah, they're jealous of all our cool stuff.
Yeah, they might have wanted to study the Express or something, especially given how it's changed in the emergency.
Mm-hmm.
But nope, this is our truck now.
Imagine that they're would want to study some of the Sunbreakers too, but
Probably, yeah.
Now I have to ask, is the tower run by one of our friendly AIs?
Probably not.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Because it's true to you came up with the tower and you were talking about it being people, as I recall.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say people, humanoid people, flesh people. Okay, so we need to... Oh, we're low on time here. Things took longer than I thought, as usual. But we can probably keep moving through here. So create community members. Once you know what your community looks like, you'll create a few NPCs to fill out the residents of your community. Not an exhaustive list of everyone in your town. Try to come up with NPCs from different parts of the community who between them can represent a wide swath of people who live here. So everyone at the table creates an NPC community member. All you need is a name, pronouns, at least 2 motifs that stick out to those who see them. Now, you can just pick one from our Street Magic game, from our list of residents, or this is where you can include one of the NPCs that you get to pick from previous seasons and just say they're here. Does anyone have one they'd like to start with?
I was thinking one of the AI. Does anyone have an issue with Hub or someone else?
No, I'm happy for Hub to be here. Hub's they, them, and then you can pick the motifs that stick out when interacting with Hub. I'm assuming the holographic form.
Yeah.
Or maybe one of their proxies. I don't know.
Is it sad that I want Headbutt Swan Dive just because?
Not sad at all.
That doesn't make me sad at all. It gives me ample opportunity to do that fun ass voice.
I mean, Trudy, if you weren't going to pick them, I would have. So
okay, well, I'm glad that I picked them. We have question mark as their pronouns, so I'm just going to use they them until we figure
Who was
out.
that mysterious mass them?
Yeah, you can put them in and add the motifs. It's probably the croaking voice and the mask
hood?
or something
Yeah.
or the hood.
I think my person is going to be Eli Vok.
Ooh, nice.
hell yeah.
For I have no idea why that was the NPC I latched onto, but he is.
He's good. he's a good character. Velvet, do you have one?
Can we keep talking to the Logistark?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, she can be here. You can put her in.
Cool beans.
Probably going to need a more mobile platform rather than the giant ship, which is probably around, but it might be one of the grounded ones.
Yeah.
As much as I love Captain Stella Cartography, I don't think she's around very much because I've gotten written down here that she's currently on an expedition.
To compliment myself, I like that I put in for one of Hub's motifs, ultimate cosmic power, itty bitty living space.
Where is my list? I had some ideas, but they were in Notion, and I closed Notion, so that was not smart of me.
What are the Logistark's pronouns?
She, her.
I want to imagine that there's like this once a year thing where she goes and drinks not tea with Keva, like an imperious old lady aunt.
Mm-hmm.
So proper judging others over her tea.
All right, so I picked mine too, and I just accidentally closed the sheet instead of clicking on that tab. So I'll just reopen that. So you all remember Weapon Table, right?
Yeah!
The
Heck
boy
yeah.
himself.
Of course.
Yeah, Weapon Table's not named Weapon Table anymore. Weapon Table changed his name because Weapon Table has a new job now, and Weapon Table's new name is Welcome Teacher.
Aww.
Oh, we love that.
Oh, welcome, teacher. No.
Yes, he runs the rehab, basically, for the clones. He helps them learn how to interact with society in ways that don't involve shooting, beating them up, and so on.
Yeah, welcome, teacher.
What's a motif?
He's green.
Well,
Green?
yes, okay, there's that.
Not easy being green.
Yeah. So
Photosynthesis is a
green
mean mother.
Make love, not war.
Some men just want to see the world learn.
Hey.
green. What's a color that goes nicely with green? A dramatic color.
The opposite of green is purple on the color wheel, but that's...
Yeah, I don't want to do purple.
No, wait. No, I got that wrong.
They're green and purple are not quite complementary, right?
Those are those Eldritch vibes. We're
Yeah.
going for wholesome vibes.
I'm thinking about colors that go well with green.
I think I'm just going to go with white.
Yeah.
Green skin, and he has a white tailored suit that he wears.
Do sometimes when Welcome Teacher and Heros like see each other, do they just nod at each other and just say, "Hello, brother. Hello, sis."
They probably do. All right. Once you have your NPCs, you'll assign one or two of them to represent the foundations your community starts with. These characters don't necessarily need to lead the foundation, but they can serve as the point of contact for your crew. There's more of this in Foundations Overview. Write these NPCs down on your community sheet. You'll have another chance to set faction relationships here. So there's not too much longer left. Are we okay to finish this up?
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good
Okay.
too.
Right now, I want to say that I feel like Hub maybe runs part of our warehouse or garage
Yeah.
for the time. One part of their brain doing that.
I've actually changed it to a white and gold suit.
Pretty
Gold
slick.
works good too, yeah.
Goes nicely with green. Not like ostentatious, but it looks good.
More like
It's distinctive.
not like a shiny gold, kind of like that dull, maybe less, I don't know.
Yeah, like Bronze Age type gold.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I got you.
Okay, so we have got these community members, and we need to attach some of them to foundations. You'll assign one or two of them to represent the foundations. So who will represent the warehouse and the Rover Garage from this list?
I was saying that Hub might be in charge of the Rover Garage.
Okay.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, sure. I think maybe the Logistark would have something to do with the warehouse.
That tracks.
Yeah.
And she works with Eli.
I just imagined her coming in this robot body. Now I'm imagining of like this curator, like woman with her hair up in a bun, like the glasses on a chain, the suit and cardigan. Well, it's like the pants, the blouse, and the cardigan, but nice. It's a cashmere cardigan.
Okay. Of the NPCs who haven't been assigned to your community, choose one who has a positive relationship with a faction, maybe a member, maybe an ally or consultant. So a positive relationship with a faction, take +1 with that faction, then choose an NPC who has a negative relationship with a faction and take -1 with them. You can choose the same NPC for both or different NPCs based on how many of you created. You can also dip into Foundation NPCs for faction relationships if you're running short. So Welcome Teacher probably has some links to the Penitent. Headbutt Swan Dive, who knows? Any thoughts on these? We can also use the ones who are. We can also use Hub, Eli, and the Logistark if we want.
I think Headbutt, or at least Trudy, you can kibosh this, but maybe the Bazaar Merchants Collective has it out for Headbutt Swan Dive for some reason.
Poor Headbutt Swan Dive.
No, poor collective. They've chosen a deadly enemy this day.
Okay. So that means that have a +1 and a -1 with the Bazaar Merchants Collective, bringing it to a total of 0.
It's like, hey, we think you guys are cool, but you need to stop fucking hanging out with that guy.
Imagined reaching, say, you can pry him from my cold, dead hands or arms
or paws.
You leave my precious baby alone. I love him. Them. I love this entity.
Whatever they are.
And their magic masks.
Okay, so that means we're going to have a 0 with one faction, a -1 with one faction, and we'll need a -1 with one other faction here. Who do you think you have beef with? Because I think, Welcome Teacher is probably a bit of a controversial figure regardless. Like, probably not everybody trusts that he's retraining all those super soldiers in a benign way.
Aww.
Even though he is, like, spoilers, he is. He's not building an army.
He's not.
Spoiler alert. Is good being.
I would personally, I want a positive relationship with the Free Realms Commission, and I would like a negative relationship with the Misfit School.
Yeah, I don't trust the Misfits School.
I would agree.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we had the -1 already, so we need a +1 with somebody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we just need a +1, unless you want to change the -1 for Headbutt Swan Dive, because that's currently, you attach that -1 to the Bazaar Merchants Collective.
Then let's slap the -1 onto the Misfit School, and that'll be the thing that I do.
Okay. Does Headbutt Swan Dive mess with the Misfit School?
I think that some of his masks definitely have magic properties, and I think that they want the masks, and Headbutt Swan Dive ain't budging on that.
Okay.
Like, if they remove them from the wall, aren't they no longer magical? So
who knows? Right. I don't know. I don't know one.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
I'm going to say our 1+ for the Free Realms Commission, it pretty much has to come from Eli Vaughn.
Hell yeah.
No doubt. He's the only pirate.
Yeah. I'm just going to put Eli Vaughn is a pirate.
He is, in fact, a semi-famous space pirate.
You can remove, like, the qualifier, just be like, Eli Vaughn is pirate.
Eli Vaughn was present during the destruction of the sun god, so that's pretty cool. That's
a lot of cachet there. I mean, he helped with that.
Major clout.
Yeah, major clout there, for sure. Okay, so that's good. That part is done. So let's move on. Choose your special ability. We got that. Oh, okay. We choose one of the abilities from the crew list. Which one do we want?
You know what I want?
It's one of us, right?
It's really, because I want one of us, because I want us to have a Megazord.
Yes.
At some point. It doesn't need to happen immediately. We can have
but it could.
We could have the core fighter, and then we can get the mobile suit.
Okay, so if
I do like punch it so much.
You're going to have to level up at some point then.
Yeah. Darn it, I have to play the game.
So for one of us, you create one of your vehicles as an expert. Use the vehicle and edges flaws, which you can see if you hover over that description. Its quality is equal to your community prosperity +1, so it'll be Prosperity 1. The vehicle has access to teamwork maneuvers using its quality for roles. A vehicle can't lead a group action, but it can participate. So vehicle edges are nimble. The vehicle handles easily. Consider this an asset for tricky maneuvers. Auto repair. The vehicle self-repairs. Remove all of its harm during downtime. Rugged. The vehicle keeps operating even when it's paralyzed. And flaws is Guzzler. The vehicle requires 1 shell's worth of fuel per downtime to keep in operation. Finicky. The vehicle has quirks that only one person understands. Without them, the vehicle has a -1 quality. And flashy. The vehicle is ostentatious and very memorable. Take +1 heat when you use it on a score.
I like... Go ahead.
If this is the Express, then it would be only one person can understand it at this point.
Okay.
Unless we want to do an introductory sequence. I mean, because I think you kind of asked in the Discord who else would be able to interact with it. I suggested Ollie, although it could also be our resident star, because they're more mechanically minded. Because JoJo would be too fast, too furious, and maybe crash it.
I feel like
you can pick 1 or 2 of each. So it's an equal number of flaws and edges, up to 2 of each.
I mean, I like nimble, and the ship has definitely been rugged in the past, but maybe it deserves auto repair. However,
I think so. Finicky would certainly fit, but I think flashy might suit
it's a space chicken.
Yeah, for a bus-sized legged vehicle with a multicolored force field.
Yeah.
Just if we're thinking, if you want to.
My vote for the flaw would absolutely be flashy if we're only doing one, and then I would say nimble and flashy if we want to do 1 and 1.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, where should I put this? I'm just going to put this down here. Okay, so one of us. Oh, we already got that.
The other best part about one of us is just saying, one of us. One of us.
As we pilot the Express.
Set your community ideals. In the same way your characters have beliefs, your community also has ideals it values and tries to live by. This is the last thing. Okay, so these ideals are also tied to a clock, and they can shift over time. During community creation, come up with 1 to 3 ideals that your community subscribes to. Write these ideals down in the ideals section on your character sheet next to your community's 8-tick ideals clock. Your community's ideals clock represents how close it is to changing its ideas. Your community's ideals are one of your methods of growth as a crew. You mark experience when you express or challenge your community's ideals in play. At the end of every downtime, any player, including me, can choose to either tick or untick the ideals clock by 1 tick. Each tick in the ideals clock represents a shift in the community's understanding of its ideals as the people there, your characters included, become more or less comfortable with what the community values. This is one of my favorite things about this game. When the ideals clock fills, change at least one of the community ideals in a way that you collectively feel reflects your community's experiences. Read change at least one broadly. You could add a new ideal, get rid of an old one, change an existing ideal, or any combination of the above. Once you make this change, mark experience to represent your growing understanding of how your community functions. Sample ideals. Always show hospitality to guests. We should keep meticulous records of all community goings-on. Show decency to all. Reserve respect for those who earn it. Nobody is free until everybody is free. We should coexist with the natural world rather than use it. Scholarship and research should be valued above all. Strive to be good at many things rather than excellent at one. So we can kind of look over our street magic game here, as well as our touchstones for what we want to accomplish this season, to think about what are the ideals of this community, of the city.
Keep moving forward. Basically, we had a terrible time with oppression and everything, but we're going to keep on moving forward and improve things.
Okay. Can we be a little more specific about what forward means here? Because if we're just going keep moving forward, that's a little broad, and I think that would leave things like Society for Preservation and the Nexus kind of in the dust, because those are archives, right? And those are important to the city as well.
I like strive to be good at many things as a starting point.
Yeah.
Because specifically, yeah, the Wayfinders Guild has to wear many hats. You know, I mean, specifically us, we're like super hodgepodge.
Okay.
I don't know if the other like cells are like us, but I think that's a good mission statement for now.
We're strong in diversity.
That's us. That's Medleystead.
Strive to be good at many things rather than excellent at one. All right. And the community name, as we've said, is Medleystead, which is fun to say.
It really is.
In the Rodero Bloom. It's fun to say. Do we have thoughts for the name for our crew? And this, again, if we don't have one now, this can emerge in play. We can figure this out as we play, like we did kind of with the Sunbreakers and stuff.
The Myriad?
Ooh, I like it.
Myriad was the suggestion there?
Yeah.
I do like it.
The Myriad is technically the number 10,000.
That's us.
In that sense, the term is used
Which
almost
is
exclusively.
over 9,000. So, yes.
It's appropriate for this setting because we're all super safe.
Okay. More generally, a myriad may be an indefinitely large number of things. Okay, so a myriad. I think that's everything. Let me take a quick look here. There's a crew creation summary. 1, pick type. We did that. 2, pick specialty. We did that. 3, build your community. We did that. 4, choose your bonus foundation. 2, faction statuses. That's done. 5, create community members. Assign some to represent foundations. Use the other set 2 more faction statuses. We did that. 6, pick special ability. Done. 7, set your community ideals. Done. 8, choose names. Done. So the last thing to talk about here before we end is how advancement works for your community. As your crew grows more and more familiar with each other's rhythms, they'll become better and better at working together. In the same way your characters level up as individuals, you can also collectively gain experience as a crew. You gain crew experience in 2 major ways. One is you invest character experience. When characters mark experience at the end of the session, they can invest experience into their playbook attributes or their crew track. Any experience invested into the crew track is marked the here. And when the track fills, the crew gains a new special ability. So when you get experience, you can use it for yourself or you can use it for the crew. And the other is your community ideals clock. Whenever your ideals clock ticks over and you rewrite your community ideals, you mark crew experience. While you'll occasionally get experience from your community ideals clock, most of your crew experience will come from allocating personal experience into the crew's experience track. You work together to fill it, each of you investing some of your personal skill, effort, and learning into making the crew a stronger team. When you fill your crew experience track, clear all the marks and take a new special ability for your advance. Crew tracks are 10 steps. And that's everything.
Cool.
Wow.
Ooh.
We are all set to go.
Radical.
We did it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for going through this with me. Yeah, this was really cool. I'm really excited to take this and run with it. And we'll finish up detailing our factions and stuff off screen. We'll get all that set up, their goals and everything off screen. And the next time you hear from us will be our first mission.
Tubular.
Excellent.
Well then, until the
Great.
next time, all the best.
All the best,
All the
folks.
best. Astronid.
Astracnids.
It's
Astracnids.
My best friend Astrid. I don't have a friend named Astrid.
Maybe you will.
Maybe someday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
On that somber note.